In this problem, we are given 8 cells, and by cells we mean prison cells, one after other in a row. And these cells will be either occupied like this, there is a prisoner inside it, or it can be empty, that is, there is no prisoner inside this. But the condition for prison being occupied is given as, so if the two adjacent neighbors of a given cell are both empty, then this will be occupied. So if this is hollow, then this will be occupied. So here by cross we mean occupied, and if it's like this, it's empty. And if both are occupied, let's say we have more cells here, and if neighboring cells are occupied, then also this will be occupied. And in any other case, this will be hollow, that is not occupied. So in the first day, the input, it can be any value. Randomly some of them will be occupied and some of them will be non-occupied. But next day you should check this condition, that pick a cell, look at its neighbors. If they are both occupied or both are empty, then this will be occupied. Any other condition, they will be unoccupied. So if you look at this first and last cell, immediately you can guess that these can be occupied only in the beginning, that is the input. Very next day, these will get unoccupied since they don't even have two neighbors. So the only condition is that there should be two neighbors and both neighbors should be either occupied or both empty. Both should be same. Then the central one will be occupied. Any other scenario, unoccupied. So these will automatically become unoccupied from the very next day. So here we will be given some day, like what is the state of this cell. We are given 8 cells after n days. So you can calculate what will be the state after 1 day, after 2 days, 3 days, and so on. But the thing is that this n can be very large. It can be of the order of 10 to the power 9. So in that case, if you start enumerating, for each day, you will have to make 8 comparisons looking at its neighbors for all the cells and update the values. So for 10 to the power 9, that will take a large amount of time, and most likely your time limit will exceed for this problem. So let's see what we will do. So here this is one of the inputs, and I have taken this example from LeetCode. So let's look at this, then it will be much more clear. So this is on day 0, that is, this is the input, and we have to find what is the state after day 7. So let's see, this is the output. So this is the input that is given to us. Now let's run our rule, whatever rule is given for occupancy. So first will be unoccupied, similarly last will be unoccupied, and they will remain unoccupied throughout since they don't have two neighbors. So first and last become unoccupied. So let's focus just on from this range from 1 to 6. So for this cell, you see that its both neighbors are 0. So it will be occupied. So this is a valid state and this is a valid state. Everything else is invalid. So if any one of these are occupied, then this will become unoccupied. So for this, both are unoccupied, so it will be occupied. Next, for this one, both are occupied, so it will become occupied. For this one is occupied, one is unoccupied, so it will become 0. 0 means unoccupied. Similarly for this, only one is the occupied, so it's 0. Here again, same thing, 0. Here again, only one neighbor is occupied, so 0. And this has just one neighbor, so it will automatically become 0. And next day, if you look, only one neighbor of this is occupied, so this is 0. Same here. But here it's both neighbors are unoccupied, so this becomes occupied, and same for this one. So keep doing this each and every day, and on day 7, this will be the state. So let's say instead of 7, we have n equal to 10 raised to the power 9. Then what will we do? Will we proceed like this? Will we continue for all the days from 1 to 10 to the power 9 and then return this value. So it looks like that will be very costly. Now let's derive something out of this. So let's say you are in this state, any one of the states. So there are 8 bits. You can think of these as 8 bits, and each bit can be set or unset. So from this, what is the possible output? There is only one possible output, and there is a fixed output. It's not that from this state you can go to multiple outputs. So if let's say this denotes a state, this the states of the cell, that is 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0. This is the state of this cell, this one. So from there is only one state, which is 0 1 1 0, this one, and 0 1 0 0. It's not that it can go to multiple states with different probabilities. There is just single state. So once it reaches this state, there is only one path going out. Similarly, from this, there is only one path going out, and so on. Now let's see. We know that first and last will always be 0 apart from the input. So right from the day 1, they will remain 0. So we are left with 6 cells, and each of these can take 2 values. So 2 values can be taken by this, 2 values can be taken by this, all the way till this. So 2 raised to the power 6 values can be there. Only that many states are there. So that's 64. So out of these 64, not all states will be valid. So here first and last we have set to 0. So let's take a look at a smaller example where we can enumerate all the states. Here 64 possibilities are there, so we cannot enumerate it here. Let's say we take only 3 cells, and first and last are occupied. So we are considering 3 cells, and first and last are 0. So we will consider all the 8 possibilities. So you can think of it as a 3-bit number. So let's write down all the values: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are the 8 values. Now not all of them are valid. So let's see which are valid. This is not valid. So this here it's 0. So this is also 0. So this has to be 1. Similarly, this has to be 1. So this is invalid. Similarly, this valid. So you see that we can narrow down our cases. So in simple 8 possibilities, only a few are possible. Similarly, in those 64 possibilities, not all of them will be possible. And if you draw the state diagram, that is from this state, it can only go to this. From this, it can go only till this. So theoretically, we can have 64 such values, and then it will repeat. Since these are the only 64 values that these 6 bits can take. But we saw that not all of them are valid. So we will be looping over a very small number, much less than 64. So what we will do here, what our approach will be that we will keep a map. So whatever is the state, it will be 100, some binary representation of 8 bits. So we will convert that to a string and use that as a key. So a state will be acting as a key, so that if we are asked to solve for 10 to the power 9 days, we know that it will be repeating in a small number only. These are the valid states, which is a very small value, much less than 64, maybe 20. In fact, it's 14. So it will be looping over this 14 values only. So we know that once we reach this state, we can only go to this. So we had already solved this, then there is no point of solving it again. So what we can do, let's say this loop length is L. So we will see that current value is, let's say, I. We have solved till I, and we have to go till 10 raised to the power 9. And here we know that it will repeat after every L iterations. So we are redundant. These solutions are redundant. So what we will do, we will speed forward, fast forward I to this value, some value within this L. Since it will be repeating, we will find how many times it will repeat. So we know that I plus, let me write here, we have solved some values and we are currently here at ith day, and we found a loop. Now on ith day we found a value, a state which has already occurred. That means there onwards, from that state there is only one state. We have already solved that, and again after so many days it will again repeat. So here we found that loop length is L. We can see on which date it has first occurred, and now on ith day it is again occurring. So whatever is the gap, that is the loop length. So it will again, this same value will again occur, same state will again occur after I plus L, I plus 2L, and so on. So it will occur also after I plus KL. So this I plus KL may be exactly equal to 10 raised to the power 9, or maybe a few values are left. It should be less than L. If it's more than L, then again it will repeat after L. So it will end just after whatever n is given to us, and we will need to solve for the remaining values, which will be less than L. So how many times we will solve? We will solve for loop length. Let's say it's 14. Then here we will solve for some value less than 14. So irrespective of n, we will solve this many times. If it's even smaller than L, then we will solve that many times. But what will be the time complexity? It will be order of L, that is loop length. And here we have only 64 possibilities, and out of that many are invalid, so it's a constant time. And we will also not use any space that is dependent on the given value n. So let's see how we will solve it. So this is the same input that is explained to us, and first we will write it in C++, then Java and Python. So we cannot keep vector as a key, so we will convert the elements to a string, and int is the index at which that state first occurred. Let's call it map. So here n is the number of days. So we can convert a vector to a string representation by passing the begin and end iterators. Now this S is the string representation of a state of all the 8 cells. So first we will check if this state has occurred earlier or not. If it has occurred, we would have already solved all the next values from this cell. So if map.find so this is the case when it has already occurred. What will be the loop length? This value corresponding to this S in this map will be the index at which it first occurred, and now at the current index I, it is again occurring. So the length of loop is I minus map S. So what is the number of remaining days? Remaining days will be whatever is the n. So let's do the math here. So we are on ith day, and there is a loop before it where it first occurred, and again this value has occurred, and again it will occur after L, and so on. So this is the I plus KL plus, it will be some value less than L. So let's say it occurs at 15th day, then 29th day, then 43rd day, and so on, and our, let's say our n is 101. So it will occur on 15 plus 84, that is 99. 99th day also the same value, whichever is I, and our n is 102, let's say. So 3 days are remaining, and this value will be less than loop length. So I plus KL plus some constant, this can be 0 also, is equal to n. So how we will find this C? This C is the number of days we need to solve. So we will do n minus I. This will become KL plus C. Now take the modulo K on both sides. So this will be 0, since KL modulo K will be 0, since it's a multiple of K only. So this becomes 0, this C will remain. So left hand side becomes C, right hand side becomes n minus I modulo K. We have taken modulo K on both sides. So C is the remaining number of days that we want to solve. So it's n minus I modulo loop length. So I made a mistake here. We took modulo L and not K. We are not bothered about K. So we can call this function itself, or we can also fast forward this I. So here it's a for loop, so it's not recommended. So you can use a while loop and set I equal to 0 and increment I after every iteration, and here we will increment it so that I becomes this remaining days less than n. But this recursive call looks much simpler. So this is the updated state of the cell, and we have to solve for next C days or the remaining days. So this is for the case when we found the loop, but before we find the loop, we need to calculate the values and keep inserting into the map. So map dot insert, key will be this S, and value will be I, the index. And after inserting, we will find the next value of the cell. So we will keep updating the values in this vector itself. So let's keep track of previous, so that we can start from 1 and go till 6. In that case, I minus 1 and I plus 1 both will be valid indices. So we are starting from 1, that is second cell. J less than 7, so it will go up till 6, that is second last cell. And we are not worried about first and last, since they will become automatically 0, and we will put them 0. So next will be clearly cells I plus 1. Previous is this cells 0, and we will also update here previous, and current is cells I. So I am storing it in current variable, since we will be updating the current value, that is cells I, so better store it. And next, previous will become current after we update the value. So before that, let's update it. So this will be, you can do multiple things. You can do XOR of previous and next. So XOR of 0 0 is 0, XOR of 1 1 is also 0, and take the negative of that. So that will also work, but more simpler would be to just compare previous equal to current, or next, previous equal to next, that is both are same, then cells I will be 1, and then this current becomes the previous for the next cell. And finally here cells 0 will be 0 and cells 7 will be 0. Since we don't have two neighbors for these are the extreme cells, and the condition says that if a cell has two adjacent neighbors that are both occupied or both vacant, but for these there is only one neighbor, so they become 0 after first from day 1 onwards. And the return type is same as vector, which will be the state of cells, and we are updating this only, so we can return that value. So this works. Let's take the second example. So it's able to solve this in given time, but our answer does not match it. So we must be doing something wrong here. So this current will be jth cell. So this I is for day number, day index, which day, and this is for cell number. And here we are updating for cell, irrespective of day, we are finding its next state. So all the indices here should be j. And let's try again. Now it matches, so let's submit. And the solution is accepted. Now we will do it in Java and Python. And here we will use arrays.toString, which will convert a given array to string. And here we will use map.contains_key. So it will return boolean. In Java you cannot assign, boolean is not treated at 0 and 1, so you have to convert it to int. So either you can do if previous is equal to next, then 1 else 0. You can do this, or you can also do our XOR trick, that is take the XOR of previous and next. If both are same, this will return 0. So 0, 1 minus 0 will be 1. If it's 1, it will become 0. And the answer matches, so let's submit. And it's accepted. Finally, we will do it in Python. and here you can directly convert it to string. And we need this cells, so we will make it part of self. And this answer does not match. So this should be if and Python solution is also accepted.